Good evening, and welcome back to Digital Mysteries. We dive into the dark corners of the internet, where lines of code blur the lines of legality. Today, we unravel a case that exposed the terrifying vulnerability of our connected world. A case that was, at its heart, a sophisticated cyber conspiracy. It was July 15th, 2020, 4:17 p.m. Eastern. The Twitter account of Tesla CEO Elon Musk suddenly lit up with a cryptic message. It claimed he was giving back to the community and that all Bitcoin sent to the address below would be sent back doubled. Within minutes, the timeline became a torrent. Similar messages flooded Twitter from the accounts of Bill Gates, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Jeff Bezos, and Kanye West. The world's most powerful people, all promoting the exact same Bitcoin scam, but none of them wrote those tweets. In a Tampa, Florida bedroom, one 7-year-old Graham Ivan Clark watched his Bitcoin wallet grow fatter by the minute. He wore a diamond-encrusted Rolex, sitting in front of a high-end gaming setup. In just over 24 hours, this teenager would pull off the biggest social media hack in history. He would breach over 130 accounts, steal 180,000 inches Bitcoin, and bring one of the world's largest tech companies to its knees. All this with just a simple phone call and a fake login page. This is the story of how a lonely Minecraft scammer became the most wanted teenager in America. His story starts not with Twitter, but with a broken family and a video game. By age 14, Graham was running a low-level criminal enterprise through Minecraft. He sold rare game skins and usernames he never delivered, making $5,000 monthly. He learned early that money solves problems, especially after his parents' divorce. His early scams taught him crucial lessons: find bigger markets, maintain anonymity, and always have an exit strategy. His research eventually led him to OG Users, a shadowy forum where hackers traded stolen accounts and rare digital assets. It was there he discovered something far bigger than game skins: SIM swapping. This technique would allow him to steal phone numbers and then use those numbers to take over digital lives. In October 2018, a well-dressed young man walked into an AT&T store in Boston. He claimed to have lost his phone, requesting to transfer the number of Greg Bennett to a new SIM card. Minutes later, the real Greg Bennett's phone died, signaling no signal and no access to his email. Graham had hijacked the phone number and was already inside the victim's digital life. Password resets and two-factor codes flowed directly to him. He drained Bennett's account of 164 Bitcoin, a fortune then valued at $856,000. Weeks later, one 7-year-old Graham walked into a Tampa BMW dealership and paid for a $60,000 white M3. He wasn't targeting individuals anymore. His new target was Twitter itself. Graham's weapon wasn't a technical exploit or complex code. It was social engineering, leveraging human trust and psychology. He spent months mapping Twitter's corporate structure, studying employee profiles on LinkedIn, and compiling contacts. When the COVID-19 pandemic forced employees into remote work, Graham saw his perfect opportunity. Isolated employees, working from home, would trust an internal support call more readily than they would in the office. He practiced his craft by calling random businesses, refining the professional tone and technical language that inspires confidence. On July 15th, 2020, 9:30 a.m., Graham started dialing. He called 5 employees. The first 4 grew suspicious and hung up, reporting the calls to Twitter's fraud monitoring team. Graham knew it was a numbers game, so he didn't give up. The 5th call was to a legal department coordinator in Portland, Oregon, who was having unreliable home Wi-Fi. When her phone rang with a Twitter support call, the timing seemed perfect. She admitted she was having trouble connecting her VPN. Graham quickly deployed a phishing site designed to look identical to Twitter's real VPN portal. The fake page captured everything: usernames, passwords, and even the two-factor code. He was inside Twitter's internal network. He needed deeper access, and he got lucky. In a Twitter Slack channel, he found the jackpot: A legal department staffer had carelessly left their administrator credentials in a troubleshooting chat. Using those credentials, Graham entered EMI, the internal dashboard that controls every single account on the platform. He now had God mode access. While Graham consolidated his power, his crew, Chiwan, Rolex, and Joe, marketed their stolen goods. Chiwan posted an ad on OG users, promising instant delivery of any Twitter username for $2,500 to $3,000. This was an unprecedented offer that signaled they had inside access. Then, Joseph O'Connor, or Joe, made a critical mistake. He posted a screenshot on Twitter of the internal EMI dashboard. Twitter's security team saw the image, and internal alarms began to blare. Graham's window of access was closing fast. Graham realized that small-scale username sales wouldn't maximize his profits in the short time he had left. He decided to abandon that method and attempt the execution of a true cyber conspiracy, a coordinated, high-profile attack leveraging mass desperation. The timing was perfect. The world was struggling under the pandemic, desperate for financial relief. Graham created a simple, professional-looking website, Crypto for Health, pitching it as a charitable initiative. The premise: send Bitcoin, and he would send back double the amount. He started small, hijacking the accounts of cryptocurrency influencers and companies like Binance and Gemini. These tweets looked legitimate because they came from verified accounts with millions of followers, making the scam highly believable. But Graham wanted bigger reach. At 4:15 p.m., he abandoned the fake website entirely and started tweeting the Bitcoin wallet address directly from the accounts of global celebrities and world leaders. The Elon Musk tweet hit at 4:17 p.m., reaching 37 million followers, many of whom were tech-savvy. The tweet spread like wildfire across social media. At 4:20 p.m., the Bill Gates tweet followed, seeming consistent with his reputation for philanthropy. For the next several minutes, Graham moved through accounts faster than Twitter could respond. Kanye West, Jeff Bezos, Barack Obama, and Joe Biden were all compromised. The scam worked. People were sending their life savings, and Graham watched his Bitcoin wallet balance grow in real time. 0.5 BTC, 1.2 BTC, 5.1 BTC received. Twitter employees were in full crisis mode. Their platform was being used to perpetrate what appeared to be the largest social media scam in history. They realized they had to make an unprecedented decision. They shut down core functionality across the entire platform. Verified accounts couldn't tweet, password resets were blocked, and anyone who had recently changed their password was locked out. The nuclear option worked, and Graham could no longer access accounts or send tweets. Twitter began killing every active VPN session, forcing all employees offline, including their uninvited guest. The hack was finally over. The platform that connects 300 million users worldwide went partially dark, exposing a terrifying weakness at the heart of our connected world. Graham walked away with approximately $180,000 in Bitcoin, but authorities had moved quickly, alerting cryptocurrency exchanges to block wallets tied to the hack. They prevented an estimated $1.5 million in additional transactions. Tracking the hackers didn't take long. Chiwan and Rolex were traced through OG users' posts and matching IP addresses. 2 weeks after the hack, authorities made their charging announcement, naming Mason Shepard, Nima Fazali, and a juvenile Graham Ivan Clark. This case was solved, but it forces us to look at the unsolved cyber cases and persistent vulnerabilities that remain. The Twitter hack exploited human trust, not just code, reminding us that the human firewall is often the weakest. Think about the mysterious lost data of the Wasted Locker ransomware. Its persistence is still debated by experts. Or the phenomenon of untraceable malware, sophisticated and self-deleting, leaving behind only fragments for investigators. And what about LOL? The crew member who helped Graham sell accounts was never caught. Did they disappear? Or are they already participating in the next cyber conspiracy? Graham Clark was sentenced to 3 years in a juvenile detention facility, avoiding an adult conviction because he cooperated. His 229 days in pre-trial detention counted toward his sentence. He was eventually out on 3 years of probation. His co-conspirators faced varying fates, but the key lesson remains. To fight digital crime, we must strengthen the human firewall, implement multi-layered protection like Zero Trust, and harden critical systems from the inside. The biggest takeaway is that security is about people, not just software. We must train employees to recognize social engineering tactics and adopt a mentality where no user, not even an admin, is implicitly trusted. Graham Clark's cyber conspiracy wasn't a technical masterpiece, it was a psychological one. It showed us exactly how easily our connected world can be turned against us by someone who understands that the weakest link in any security system is always human. Until the next time, stay safe, stay skeptical, and never let your guard down in the digital world. This is Digital Mysteries, signing off.